Hi, welcome back. Now in the last few videos we've learned about flash output, we've learned about the manual function in the flash, we also saw about the TTL function in the flash, we learned how it works, and we also learned that within TTL you just don't have to be satisfied with what you've got. You do have a bit of room using the flash compensation function to increase or decrease the exposure of the image that you've got. Now the question is, which is better, TTL or manual? Well, to be frank, none of them is really better than the other. It's just that some of these things can be used in different situations. So when is usually TTL preferred over manual? Well, it's usually preferred in situations where you're doing some quick type of a photography where the lighting conditions are changing. For example, let's say if you were shooting an event and you saw something and you shot at this angle, and then you have to take a shot at a different angle where the lighting is slightly different than what it is this side. If you were shooting using the manual function in the flash, for both these shots you will have to change the output of the flash, because remember the lighting conditions are changing, so you'll also have to equally compensate by doing some trial and error in the manual mode of the flash. And this can be slightly frustrating and challenging because you might miss a shot or a moment in that event. Therefore, for quick type of photography, usually TTL is preferred. Again, in events, it's not just about the lighting condition being changing. Even your subject can move back and forth, right? Nobody in an event will always stay at the same place, and if your subject moves closer or backwards to you, you will again have to compensate the flash power, because let's say if the subject moves back or away from you, then if you're using a manual mode of the flash, you will have to increase the flash power in order to make sure that sufficient amount of light reaches your subject. But if you're shooting in TTL, again, you won't have to do this trial and error, because the moment the TTL, we've already seen that it works through the reflected light, so the moment it sees that your subject there's a good amount of distance has increased between the photographer and the subject, it'll automatically increase the flash power. So definitely most of the photographers agree that for events or any quick type of shooting, TTL is the way to go. Some people even still use manual, that's fine, they just get so used to using the flash that they know what setting to change, but that can take a bit of time. So TTL is definitely more convenient. That is not to say that manual function is bad, because in situations where your lighting is and your subject distance is not really going to change. For example, let's say if you're doing a portrait shoot. So later on in this course, we'll be learning about how to shoot portraits, even studio portraits. There, the distance between the subject and the photographer is not really going to change, because the person that you're shooting will stay still, and even the lighting conditions that you're shooting in won't just drastically change. So everything's going to be constant. So once you determine the flash output required to shoot your subject, it can remain the same for your for the entirety of your shoot. So manual is also not bad. Now the reason that I say this is because obviously the good flashes these days, they have both TTL as well as manual functions. So you can change, just like the one that we're using, the newer flash, and even the one that I've recommended has both these functions. But the reason I made this video is because if you're on a very tight budget and you have to get a flash which is very cheap and it does not have TTL function, then just keep in mind that you can still get that flash, but it will be tough to do things like events or any type of photography where these conditions are changing. But let's say if you already have it in mind that you just want to use it for portraits, let's say, and you want to use it in conditions where the lighting is not changing, maybe even product photography, well, in that case, you can definitely save all that money and go for a cheaper flash which is only manual. So there's no right answer, it just depends on you as a photographer. Another variable that will soon come later in this course is something called as HSS, which is high speed sync. That is also a feature mostly restricted to the higher end flashes. So what I would suggest is, if you have the money, go for the flash which I have recommended, because it has everything, all these functions that we're going to see. But if you are on a tight budget and you're planning to do this research on your own and buy your own flash, I would suggest wait for this course to end, or at least till you've moved way into this course and you're very comfortable with the different functions and terms related to flash, and then go and purchase the flash that you want to. Right, so that's about TTL versus manual. I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye for now.